Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to our Sunday school lesson for this week. I am so excited that you have joined us again. Let's start out our lesson today by reviewing what we have learned the last 2 weeks. If you remember, the last 2 weeks, we had two different items inside of our purple Wonder Box. We're going to have a new item today, but I do want to go over what was in the purple box the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had this picture. Do you remember this? This was a picture of a dove, and we use a dove to represent a lot of things, particularly love and peace. And we had a special dove in our story 2 weeks ago that came down while Jesus was getting baptized. So the dove helps us remember God's love, God's peace, and Jesus' baptism. Now, last week, we had a different kind of animal. It was not a bird. It was not a dove. It was do you remember? A fish. In our Wonder Box last week, we had a fish. And the fish helps us remember the story where Jesus sees the two fishermen out in the water, and he yells out to those two fishermen. He says, "Come follow me." And that is how Jesus got all of his followers. He said, "Come follow me." And he invited them to come listen to him, learn from him. And then after they learned from Jesus, they were able to go out and tell the rest of the world about Jesus and God's love. And that made them disciples. And remember, we are even disciples of God's love because we share it with other people. Now, while I'm on the topic of God's love, let me grab our Wonder Box for this week. I keep saying the word love over and over, so that's a good hint about what might be inside this box. If you think of the word love, can you think of a specific shape that we use when we want to represent love or when we say that we love something? Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you've been to the store, you might have seen a lot of this shape. Any guesses what shape I'm talking about? Let's see what's in the box this week. Oh, a nice, beautiful, pretty pink heart. I love hearts. They make me so happy. On the back, there's pretty flowers on this heart. So in our Wonder Box today, we found a heart. Well, what could that mean that we are learning about today? If you guessed love, you're right. We learn about love a lot in Sunday school because love is something that we need to have a lot of. We need to love God and Jesus. We need to love ourselves. We need to love our family. We need to love our friends and our neighbors. But today, not only are we going to learn about loving the people that we like and the people that are nice to us, we're also going to learn about loving the people who might not be so nice to us. I know sometimes that might seem hard, but it's possible and we can do it, and God can show us how. Our Bible story today comes from the book of Matthew, and we are going to focus on chapter 5, verses 43 through 48. Now, in this Bible verse, we learn that Jesus is up on a mountain and he's giving a very, very important sermon. And in this sermon, Jesus says to the people that they might hear everyone around them saying, "Love your neighbors and hate your enemies." Because we know it's really easy to love people that we like and people who are nice to us, but it's not very easy to love our enemies. And most people think that you should just hate them instead. But Jesus tells us to love our enemies and pray for those who hurt you. He also said if you are only nice to your friends, then you aren't any better than other people. So what we have to always remember is that even when people aren't very nice to us, maybe they say something mean and they hurt our feelings, instead of being mean and upsetting them in return, we should instead show them love. So we should be kind and loving to even the people who are hurtful to us. Now, I want to share one more Bible story with you this week. This isn't the one that was given in our lesson today, but this story is called Love in Action. And in this story, we have Paul. Paul is one of our disciples in the Bible. You may have heard his name before in some of our lessons. Paul is writing a letter to people who are starting to follow Jesus. Okay, so they're learning about Jesus and trying to be more like him, just like we try to do. And in this letter, Paul tells people exactly what they need to do in order to love one another like Jesus loves us. So I thought we would take a listen to this story. You can see Paul in the picture here. And he is actually reading this letter to people. So let's see what he had to say about loving one another. Show love to each other. Respect each other. Show your excitement while you serve each other and God. Be happy. Stand your ground and pray often. Share what you have with others and be welcoming to new people. Be nice to all people, even if they aren't nice to you. Be happy with happy people and sad with sad people. Remember that everyone is equal. No one is better than anyone else. Try to always live peacefully with all people. What awesome things to remember. So next time you're in a situation, maybe you're at school, or maybe you're arguing with your sibling and they're not being very nice to each other. Wherever you are, the next time somebody does something to you that's not very nice, instead of responding in a mean way, I want you to try really, really hard to give love and kindness to them in return instead of being mean. And then by doing that, you're showing God's love. And that makes us so proud. For our craft this week, I have a very important heart picture that I want you to color. So in your Sunday school materials sent from the church, you should have a file, or your parents should have a file in their email where they can download this picture. What does this heart look like it is? What do we call those things that have a lot of pieces that we put together? Do you know? This heart is a puzzle. And in this heart puzzle, you have all these different pieces. And on each of these pieces, it reminds you of all of the different people that Jesus wants us to love. Love those who are mean to you. That's a hard one. Love your enemies. That's a hard one too. Love your family. That one's pretty easy. A lot of the time. Let's do this one next. Love your neighbors. That's a good one. Love your friends. That's another easy one. Love the Lord. Yes. And in the middle, I put love everybody. Even when they are mean to you. Even when they are nice to you. Even if they're your favorite person. Even if they're not. You need to try your hardest to love everyone. So I want you to decorate this picture. I'm going to decorate mine and I'll show you a picture of the finished product when I'm done. I want you to decorate this and then hang it somewhere where you will see it a lot, whether that's on your fridge, in your room, in your bathroom on the mirror, wherever you want to put it, where you will see it. And always remember that you need to love all of these people. As the last part of our lesson today, before you move on to your music lesson for this week, let's say a prayer where we thank God for teaching us how to love everybody, whether they are our friend or our enemy. Can you bow your head and repeat after me? Go ahead and put your hands together too. Dear God, thank you for teaching me to love everyone. I promise to try my best to love my neighbors my friends, my family, and even my enemies. A big amen to end. Amen. Enjoy your music lesson with Reverend Donathan coming up next, and have a great week. I'll see you next time.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sunday School. Well, I don't know about you, but this has been a very busy week. Since last Sunday, we've celebrated Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Then some of you probably went back to in-person learning in your school on Tuesday, while some of you probably are staying home to still do online learning. Then yesterday, we inaugurated a new president. The old president left, and the new president now takes over for leading the country. And now here it is Thursday. That's a lot to cram into a few days. But the main thing to always remember is through all of those changes and all of those busy days, God has been with us every single day. So as we begin our time this morning, let's sing our song. But you're going to notice that we're doing it a little different today. Jeff and I are sitting here in the children's choir room, and we thought it would be neat to get out the instrument called the auto harp. Now, this particular string instrument is similar to a piano, except instead of hitting the strings with a hammer like in a piano, you strum the strings. You see the piano keyboard down here on the bottom? That just tells you where the notes are in relationship to what the strings are. So when I push these buttons, it makes chords. So listen. You recognize that song? Let's sing it. Ready? Love, 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 love. Christians, this is your call. Love your neighbor as yourself, 'cause God loves us all. Love, 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 love. Christians, this is your call. Love your neighbor as yourself, for God loves us all. It's interesting that when you change the instrument, the song sounds completely different, doesn't it? I like playing the auto harp, but it's been a while since I've played it, so I'm hoping I don't mess up this morning. So let's do some clapping, okay, before we get started with the other two songs that we're going to do today, okay? Here we go. You ready? I'll clap first. You clap with me. I might mix it up today, so you better be ready. Here we go. Ta, 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 ta. Ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Whole note, hold it. Half note, half note. Ta, rest, ta, rest. Ta, ta, rest, ta. Ta, rest, half note. Half note, half note. Whole note, hold it. Whole note, hold it. Whole note, hold it. Rest, 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 rest. Very good. I can tell you're awake this morning. That is fantastic. Now, the new song that we're going to do today is entitled, I Have Decided to Follow Jesus. Now, in church this morning, Pastor Jonathan is going to talk about how we as Christians are called to follow Jesus. Now, last week we talked about how we need to be true to ourselves and find out what God is calling us to do. And when we do that, we are following Jesus wherever he goes. And so this song is entitled, like I said, I Have Decided to Follow Jesus. Okay? Now, I'll sing it through first, and then you can sing along with me. The words are on the song sheet that are attached to your Sunday school email. So this is how the song goes. And we're going to use our auto harp too again. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Ready? I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Okay? A lot of the words repeat, so it's real easy to pick up. Now, it has 3 verses that you'll see on your song sheet. So let's do all 3 of those verses. You ready, Jeff? I think he's sleeping this morning. All right, let's try it. Here we go. There's our key. Ready? I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I hope you had fun with that song, and you can certainly clap along with that song as well. Now remember, what is this called? This is called an auto harp. It kind of looks like a harp, doesn't it? Now, even in our Appalachian culture, there were these instruments that people would sit around and play on the front porch of their houses. And sometimes they would hold them like this and play them. They would kind of cradle it like this. But that makes it a little more complicated because you can't see the buttons to push. So you can play it like this, or you can play it while you're sitting here on your lap. Okay? I hope you had fun this morning, and I hope you have a great Sunday school lesson. I know it'll be wonderful. We'll see you next week. Say bye, Jeff.